Hey, welcome back. This is the Marianne Hickman YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about how to create a product as a coach. So here's my question for you. If you're looking at getting paid speaking gigs, I don't know how far away that is for you, but if you're starting from nothing and you're starting from not speaking at all, you know you want to speak, but this is the beginning. Let's be honest, it's just the beginning. The truth of the matter is your speaker fee of, the standard $10,000 that people want is probably at least 5 years away. I would say it's 10,000 hours of Malcolm Gladwell's mastery away. Does that mean you have to wait 5 or 10 years to get paid to speak? Well, not necessarily, as long as you know how to make money on the back end. In order to make money on the back end, you have to have a few things lined up for you. Number one is you have to appear on stages. Now, there are 4 different kinds of stages. There's physical and there's digital, and there's stages that you own versus the stages that other people own. And when you mix those all together, you really get 4 different kinds of stages. And I got to tell you right now, my favorite kind of stage is a podcast. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, a podcast is evergreen, which means if I look something up, I Google something. In fact, I was just Googling the other day a question that I had, and the answer came up in a podcast published 13 years ago. And I listened to the episode. It was great. I even bought the book. So the podcast is going to be available for as long as the show is active online, unlike YouTube shorts or unlike reels from Instagram or unlike these TikToks that have a shelf life of probably 72 hours if they're really good, maybe 6 weeks if they're longer. Also, podcasts are recommended as answered. Not only are they evergreen, but especially if it's a video podcast, that gets pushed to search results. So this is more than just SEO. This is now what Google is doing when it does these search engine results. It's providing AI answers, and those AI answers need to be sourced from somewhere. Now, those AI answers can be SEO optimized, and there's no I think it's like IEO optimization as it's coming out now. I don't know a lot about that end of it, but what I do know is that the best friend of Google is YouTube. These recommended videos come up, and usually they're podcast episodes, especially if you're an expert talking about this answer to the specific question that people type in. Hint, if you're starting a podcast or if you already have a podcast, start naming the videos. The title of the video should be the question that people ask. How do I learn to train a horse? How do I clean the frog of the horse's foot? How do I learn how to swim? How do I teach my toddler how to swim? Those should be the titles of the videos that you're producing so they show up as the search results for you. So number one, again, get on stages. Podcasts are my absolute favorite. One other small thing I just need to mention with podcasts. The average listener to podcasts, they have an income that justifies the purchase of a home, which means if you're looking for people that can afford your programs, they're likely listening to a podcast. You want to be on podcasts. So you have to get on stages. Number two, you have to give something away on those stages that is so incredibly valuable to the listener that they want it so badly, they're willing to give their email up to get it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Spam email boxes, they're all too full. I know that there are some emails that you look for in particular in your email box. I know that there's emails that you unsubscribe to. The people that need our stuff watch for our emails. They watch for it to come in. They watch for it to be part of their world in the universe because they know everything that you produce is going to help them in their world in some way. Now, this does require you to niche down, but that's for a video for another time. In order to get those emails, you've got to deliver something so beneficial to them in the moment that solves a particular problem in the moment that they're willing to part with their email address to give you the one that they actually read, the one they actually check instead of like the fake marketing one that they give to everybody else. You want the one that they actually check. So what does your audience need? That's the answer you want to give them. So for example, if I serve speakers, every speaker wants more stages. So I've accumulated a list of stages and I give it away. In fact, I'll give it to you if you want. You just send me the word podcast in my text messages, 801-509-5495, and I'll send you a list of 1,000 podcasts that all need guests, and they all have the application links included right in the podcast. So number one, appear on stages. Number two, give something away on that stage, especially if it's a podcast, because the podcast will be up there and hopefully the host puts it in the show notes. And by the way, if you just want to start your own podcast, you can do that too. And then your giveaway is available forever as long as it's on the internet in the show notes and as long as your giveaway works. Then After you've got your stage, your giveaway, now you have a list of emails from people who really like you, people who want to hang out with you, people who already like what you're giving away. In that list of emails, you're going to keep delivering good stuff. You're going to use those emails for good in the world, right? Deliver tangible things, deliver answers to problems. You want to just give so much away to your clients, away to your potential clients, I should say, that when it's time for you to do what's called a launch, do I have the book with me? I'll put it in the show notes. The book Launch by Jeff Walker is the sequence to all of this. I'm going to sum it up in a very short sequence, but you're going to make an offer to those people. Now, it's not scary sales. You're just answering a problem that they are excited to exchange their hard-earned money for because they know you can answer their specific problem. So when you have an offer and you have a product, which was what we're going to be talking about today, then you can create revenue. So again, let's go over this. We've got stages, we've got the giveaway on the stage, then we've got the offer, and then we've got revenue. So today we are going to be focusing on the offer. What is your offer? What should it look like? How do you build a product that is going to solve the problem that will now sustain you, that will pay you to get on stages without a speaker fee? And by the accounts that I have heard of and the reports that I have heard of, if you are not making an offer that doesn't pay you outside your stage fee, then you're leaving 60% of your revenue on the table. Isn't that insane? 60% of your revenue is left on this table. So that means if your speaker fee is $40,000 and you're only getting paid your speaker fee, you're leaving $60,000 on the table. Nuts, isn't it? Whew. Okay, this is why I want you to have this. So I'm going to pull up a graphic on the screen here so you can see this template for a value ladder. The template for the value ladder is here to help you design what exactly you should be sharing with your customers. In fact, let me just pull this up here in a better Zoom format for you so you can see it a little more zoomed in, no pun intended. So this value ladder is designed to help you take people from the free level where they're experiencing you online, where they're experiencing you on social media, where they're experiencing you on YouTube Shorts and TikTok and whatever, and you're delivering value, but then it's designed to take them through this ladder, this ascent into working with you. Now, a lot of these things are sustainable, and a lot of these things are things that require your time. I personally love monthly recurring revenue products. I really do. I also love working with people one-on-one, but I will tell you, if you're like my friend Charity, you're going to burn out on one-on-one. I know some of you were like, oh, I need that problem. I would love to have my calendar full of one-on-one appointments, but I will tell you right now that you're going to find yourself repeating yourself a ton, which is great. It's an indicator that you need to build a product out of whatever you're repeating over and over again. And I'll talk about more about that later. But it's also going to burn you out because you're going to start to feel like you want to help more than one person at the same time because you're repeating yourself so often. There's little breadcrumbs that'll be left along the way on how to do this, but here's what I want to give to you. So at the bottom of this value ladder, you will see the equivalent of stages. I call it your online presence or your do-it-yourself. Here's what I mean by that. Your stages are there to give you a voice. It's there to put you up to a microphone. It's there to teach, not just talk about how you can, but you're here to teach. You're here to give something away that's real and tangible. After that, people are going to say, oh my gosh, I like that so much, but I'm leaving this event. What happens after I leave the event? Am I going to be able to get more help? What happens after this podcast is over? I like it so much. Is there anything I can take away from this buffet that I can chew on and that I can implement right away? This is why I want you to have some kind of a resource. An ebook is a very, very popular one for good reason. It's because the ebook has the ability to write down information that they can go back and read. Now, again, many times ebooks will get downloaded and not read. If that's happening, it's because as a consumer, we are not clear enough on what the problem in the ebook is being solved. Let me say that again. What problem the ebook is solving. And if I don't understand what problem it's solving, I probably won't read it. That's a concern. So build an ebook or a database or a survey or whatever lead magnet, tripwire. I don't like either of those words, but the additional resource, the next step in the value ladder, create something that solves a problem and solves it completely and really well. That ebook could either be free as you appear on podcasts, or you could charge $9 for it. Now, again, I want to give you a warning. I'm going to stop the share real quick and show you one of my books from one of my friends that she's written. This is Kimberly Spencer's book. I love this book. I recommend this book. I will put a link to this book in the show notes for you because this is a big deal. But I'm not talking about this kind of book. I'm not talking about the, how many pages is this? 260 page book, the 290 page book. This is not the ebook. When I say ebook, I'm referring to a 1-page PDF. I'm referring to a 12-page maximum book with lots of interaction, lots of pictures, lots of things to keep our eyes visually stimulated and entertained. I'm talking about something that can be easily digested, not a huge gourmet heavy meal. I'm looking for the next thing, because remember, it's like dating. When you and I are dating, right? We go on our dating apps or whatever, or at least I remember this is what it was like for me. When I go on dating apps, the first step is to get to know you over the app. I'm gonna see your pictures and look at your profile before I even click match with you. And then if I like our conversation enough, then I will agree to go on a date with you. And if I like our conversation enough on that date, then I'm going to agree to another date and more time with you. Whereas if you come at me on the app and you're like asking to do things that make me super uncomfortable and like maybe go to bed together the same day, I'm not going to be interested in that. That's not why I'm there. I'm looking for a long-term relationship, right? Not just a one-night stand. The same thing, people are flirting and courting your business and you're courting them all the time. That's what's happening. And we need to give them steps that allow them to interact with us in a non-committal, non-threatening, but super valuable way up until the point where they say, I've had enough of this free stuff. Please, how can I pay you? And I promise you that's not hyperbole. If you do this right, you will have those questions rather than please buy from me, which is desperation energy that nobody wants, neither in the business world or the dating world. So I'm going to share the screen again. Let's go back to this. All right. Follow me here. We've got our online presence. These are the stages. These are also physical stages. This applies to physical stages as well. Then we've got our do-it-yourself ebook. Now, when I say DIY on both of these, you are teaching the audience. You're not holding anything back. You're teaching the audience, do this yourself. When I teach people to speak, I'm teaching them to speak online. When I teach them how to productize, I'm giving you everything right here. I'm giving you the whole system. If you were to pay me, this is the same system you would get, except you and I would be doing it together. I'll get to that in a second. But you have the system. You can go do it yourself. But the thing is, it's like getting blueprints to the house. Even if you got the blueprints to your house and you got the shopping list from Home Depot and you got all of the HVAC requirements and all of that, and you had all the permits and everything from the city, you would still be left to build the house yourself. I don't know about you, but I'm not a home builder. I would much rather buy the house rather than build it myself. Now, if I help them build the house, there's even something called sweat equity that you can use to lower the cost of the house by bringing it in. And there's a very parallel path with products here. Let me show you what I mean. Digital trainings come next. So I've seen you online. I love you. I've downloaded your guide. I've downloaded your 1-page PDF. I've downloaded your survey. Now I've got the results back. And now I'm like, oh, I know I need more. I know I need more. I'm going to build this house. So I need, maybe I should watch a YouTube video or two. Maybe I should get some training, or maybe I should get a course, or maybe I should take some certification. This is really your first concrete form of revenue that you can make from appearing on stages without having to get a speaker fee first. Now, the digital training it's sequentially what comes next in the value ladder, but I have to tell you, it's not always the first thing that you will create. Let me explain why. When people interact with you and you don't have a product yet, your first product is going to be one-on-one coaching. That's going to be your first product. And here's why. The first product is going to teach you what should go into the digital training packages. When you work with someone one-on-one and you work with the next person one-on-one and we work with the next person one-on-one, you're going to find these patterns like I was talking about before. These patterns that come up, these questions that keep getting asked all the time. How do you do this? How do you do this? If I'm teaching people how to be a farrier, well, how do I source the material for the horseshoes? How do I put the nails in the horseshoes so they don't hurt the horse? When you hear these kinds of questions or whatever your expertise is, how do I teach a 2-year-old to not be afraid of the water? What do I do about that? When you start to hear these questions, now we've got clues that you probably would benefit from building a digital course on this. And this only can happen after you've done enough one-on-ones to get the repeated questions to say, now there's demand. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is wasting your time recording a digital course that nobody wants. I did that. I made that mistake. We spent hours in the studio. We spent money on production. We spent money on ads, making something that I didn't even ask my audience if they wanted. And so nobody bought it. I gave it away to people and nobody even opened it. I have a CRM. I can track who opened it. Nobody did because they didn't want it. Build a business around the wants. Don't try to chisel the wants into the market. That doesn't work that way. Okay, so the digital training will be precipitated from one-on-ones that you do over time to see what do people always ask for. Now, this value ladder, as you can see here, is organized in ascent of cost, not creation. This is not a creation timeline. This is a cost ladder. The higher cost item from digital training is group mentoring. And here's why. We've gone from do it yourself to done with you. Group training is where I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to do this together. We're going to meet on group calls. You're going to ask me questions. I'm going to solve a couple problems on every single call. You're going to bring problems to me and then you're going to go out and you're going to go forth and you implement and you do those things. Group mentoring is once a month, 4 times a month, once a week, whatever you design it around your life. Now, once a month is pretty seldom as far as group mentoring goes. I would not recommend group mentoring that involves your time less than twice a month. That's what I would just recommend. Again, this could be a Zoom call. Probably don't want to do this in person for scalability purposes, but group mentoring will also precipitate patterns and questions that then you can create digital trainings for. After group mentoring and cost, we have an increase in cost. You can see we've added another dollar sign there. Live boot camps, live workshops, live intensives. This is where you're gathering in person. These are not marketing events, though. This isn't a free event where you invite the public to come for free or a really discounted price in order to bring them into your value ladder. These are fulfillment events. These events, when we teach people how to start podcasts, we charge $1,500. And that was like at a super discounted rate. That's the cost per ticket to come to these things. We're not, eventually maybe you want to fill a giant room, but these are, I have found, really best done in a concentrated, intensive workshop style so that I'm touching every single person there. After live boot camps in cost comes one-on-one. Now, this is an ascent in cost. Let me explain to you sequentially, again, which ones come first. You're going to get on stages. Remember, the first of the 4 steps, you're going to get on stages. You're going to do a really great job talking about what you love and solving problems right on that stage. Then you're going to give something away really valuable that solves an immediate problem. Then you're going to have this offer, right, that comes in. And then after the offer, you're going to be able to close them and make some revenue with this. After all of that is said and done, you're going to do one-on-one coaching as your first offer, and then you're going to do enough of those to precipitate what you should be producing in digital training and what you should be producing in live boot camps. Listen, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below.